Hello, and welcome back once again to Belmont Bunch. Looks like a Backstreet Boy there. Today we're talking about the Toews trade and its fallout, whether or not the Islanders got value for it, and also what the blue line is going to look like in the aftermath. So let's get into it. So the Islanders got 2 second-round picks back for defenseman Toews, who still needs to be signed by Colorado. He's an RFA. And I wanted to see other top 4 defensemen, what they got back, and if the Islanders got value for it. And then we'll talk about the blue line. But Vegas trades Nate Schmidt to the Vancouver Canucks for a third in 2022's draft. Not next year. Year after. So, not great value. But you could argue this was a cap dump. We're seeing a lot of modified cap dumps in this year's NHL because the cap is going to remain flat probably next year and the year after. So, Nate Schmidt turns into Alex Pietrangelo. So, I guess if you look at it with more context, it's not the end of the world. But Nate Schmidt is a really, really good defenseman, and Vancouver's going to feel pretty good about this deal. Ryan Murray to the New Jersey Devils from Columbus. Columbus getting even less back, but I guess it's an injury-riddled defenseman in Ryan Murray, but you don't know. He could be fantastic. He could be a top 4 defenseman. It's another pretty big move, somewhat similar to the Subban get from a few years ago for the Devils. So interesting that the Devils are doing a better job of getting big names than the Islanders, per se. But still, the Islanders' management is really good. All right, I'm going to stop the comparison. But not a great return for Columbus, but it's a straight cap dump once again to re-sign Pierre-Luc Dubois and also, it looks like, go after Taylor Hall. But that is obviously no longer in play. So very interesting what Columbus will do with the money that they have saved. But just as a deal, obviously, once again, you're getting worse. Not a great bit of value back. And then you have Colorado, who acquired Toews. Now, this is before the Toews trade, so probably they knew they were going to get Toews, but, well, they knew that they wanted to get speedier. And Nikita Zadorov is a hulking, somewhat dirty, I've heard people say, big defenseman on the left side, and they clear him out, and he was making a decent little chunk of money, but Toews is probably going to make probably about the same after his RFA arbitration or signing, whatever happens with that. They got a top 6, maybe at this point more of a middle 6 forward in Brandon Saad. But okay value there. Pretty good value. I think Colorado stacking up on a little bit of more forward depth because obviously we know they're incredible up top. So not a bad idea to get some depth behind it. And then they got Toews to replace Zadorov anyway. So Colorado, I think, making some decent moves. So I like where they're going. Might be my Stanley Cup pick for next year. The value part of this equation, I think, very good for the Islanders. 2 seconds. We didn't have a second in this year's coming draft because of the Andy Green trade. So you get your pick back, or you get a pick back in 2021. 2022, you have 2 seconds. What are those picks going to be used for? I already gave it away. Possibly a trade. Boychuk. I have Boychuk on the board as still on the blue line. And that's because as of the filming of this video, he still is. And if the Islanders want to free up the money, more money for Barzal and Pulock, not Toews any longer, I think this shows that it's been harder to trade Boychuk than we would have hoped. And one of these picks is probably going to have to be used to free Johnny Boychuk and get him to Ottawa. I mean, some other team. But let's look at what the blue line looks like as of right now. I have Boychuk outside of the 6-man unit because, you know, we're probably gonna have to trade him. So for now, Pelech and Pulock, great pairing. You got a little bit of offense on the right, great defense on the left. Pulock obviously needs to be signed, but if Boychuk's out, I think the Islanders find a way to get Barzal and Pulock signed. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. Leddy and Dobson. Dobson, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he's immediately thrust into the top 4 role after not playing almost at all in the playoffs and also not playing every day in the regular season. Though he got good experience in the regular season. He played with Boychuk a lot, so it makes sense for them to want to go with Leddy with Dobson. This year, it seems like they want to pair him with somebody with a lot of experience, and this will be a second straight Stanley Cup winning defensive partner. So that works pretty well if that's what they're going for. I have Hickey on the left side for now. Mayfield, obvious mainstay for now. The right side looks good even without Boychuk in the lineup. So the Islanders are strong on the right. And on the left, Leddy, I'm fine with. Obviously, he kind of plays exactly the type of game that Barry likes. So he was never going, according to Arthur Staple. Pelech, obvious, we love him. Hickey played exclusively in the minors last year and suffered a pretty bad concussion. So that bottom pairing left side is kind of open to competition. Aho, Hickey, rejoin, Andy Green rejoins, possibly. I think it's a very real possibility he signs for like league minimum because he fit pretty well last year. He scored 2 goals in the playoffs and had a good little run at the end of the regular season. So I think the Islanders would like to bring back Green on as cheap a contract as possible. And Hickey could be one of those contracts that gets moved, but he didn't play it all last year, so it's kind of tough to get a team to bite on that, but it's also not a bad contract, so there's a lot that goes into that. But 3 options for that spot that's left vacant by Toews, so it's not the end of the world. They've got some guys in the minors, Bolduc and Bodie Wild, that they're really excited for. So I think they didn't think it was the end of the world to give up on, or not give up on Devon Toews, because Toews is going to be really good with Colorado, I think. But it made sense to get the value and start feeding extra minutes to some of the guys that maybe have earned it. Sebastian Aho with his great minor league play. But that is the video. That's the video. Goodbye. No. Thank you. Like and subscribe, please, if you like the content. Let me know in the comments what you think of my spiel about the Islanders here. We'll have to look into the forwards for the next video because Leo Komarov is, like Boychuk, probably in that trade discussion group of we got to get this money off the books type players. So, talk about that next time. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.